Faster, 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 faster. Those are rookie dice numbers.
One.
Faster.
Time.
Oh, hey guys. You caught me training for my appearance in Charity Hammer this year, Charity Hammer 2020, an event to sponsor Child's Play. But this video isn't about that. Hey, this video is about the Black Templars review. Welcome to another edition of Danny's Hot Takes. Today on Danny's Hot Takes, we're going to be talking about Psychic Awakening, Faith, and Fury.
Now this is just the Black Templar portion, right, Danny?
No, Dave. Actually, we're going to talk about some regular Space Marine stuff. Then we'll talk about They Who Shall Not Be Named, the Black Templar. Because we know how much everybody loves them, right?
They do love them.
Yeah.
They got their own book. It's not even.
I mean, they got to share a book with some people.
They got their own story arc.
They're like the poor kid at school
who
gets to share a book with everyone
To
else.
be honest, they get to share, or they get to have more of a supplement than any other second founding chapter. So maybe people should, like, you know, not...
But Danny, they had a codex in 3rd edition.
They sure didn't. But anyway, so I'm joined today by Dave and Jon.
Hello. Hey guys.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over this book. It's gonna be rad because this is a great book. Like, I just want to start out before I even crack this thing open. Like, what a fantastic job they did.
Yeah.
Like, they did a fantastic job.
Holy cow! I didn't want to give it to you to review.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, oh, we didn't get the email to review it.
And I'm like,
And you don't even play any of these armies.
and he's like, well, what if this was a rule? And I was like, Dave, you got the book. I'm coming over.
Yeah. I think that's actually how it went down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I meant to ask you, does this mean this? You have the book, don't you? No.
All right, so we're gonna crack this bad boy open. Cracking open a cold one with the boys.
Yeah.
Except it's not cold; it's fire hot.
It's firehouse.
All right, so we're gonna start in the Adeptus Astartes section. I'm not gonna go over the fluff today. I don't usually do that in our reviews, but on the next episode of Mob Rules, we will be reviewing the fluff that does go into this book, both this book and Psychic Awakening #1.
I just have to say, this has the least amount of fluff of any Psychic Awakening book they have so far.
Oh my God.
And it has more, in my opinion, story-wise, than what is in the Psychic Awakening book.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so much going on. I mean, they could only put a couple of pages for each thing, but like, because of the amount of rules in this book, and this book is probably 70% rules, easy.
Yeah.
Easy. Like, and not just like, I'm discounting all the narrative missions, all the battle zones that are in here as well, because there is that stuff as well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fun stuff in there. A couple of really cool looking scenarios, and also like a new battle zone for fighting in the Cicatrix Maledictum, which is cool.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Like, so it's in a warp rift.
Yeah.
Which is cool. All right. So first we're going to go over the Adeptus Astartes characters. And I bet a lot of you are thinking, man,
Thank God they have not had any love recently.
It's been what?
I mean, that was a way to put it. Yeah.
3 weeks?
It's been 3 weeks since the last supplement.
So,
and so
get this
Space
cracked
Marine
open.
stairs,
Yeah.
like players like crack addicts just starved for their next hit of rules.
So in this section, what it is it's called Masters of the Chapter. So in the Masters of the Chapter section, it goes over some chapter-specific litanies for the first founding chapters, as well as adding like a Chief Librarian, a Master of Sanctity, all that stuff that you could field in previous editions of the game. Now it's a stratagem, and you can actually change your characters.
You know what I love is they had that box set a while ago where they had the 5 different Masters of the Chapter together. And like for the past couple of editions, you just had to use them as either a librarian or just as a tech marine or as a standard. So I do enjoy that they're bringing these back here so you can like really represent your own custom chapters.
Heck yeah. And like only Farios, for instance, is the only Master of the Forge that's available via rules, except for maybe some in Forge World, but we won't count those because
those guys don't count. They're not real.
Yep. So the first section, chapter litanies. So each of the first founding chapters got their own litany, and some of them are bomb. All right.
Some are kind of meh, but some are. I mean,
they're all
they're
pretty
still
good,
better than
right?
regular litanies.
Hey, what did Purple Grey Boys get?
What is a purple gray boy?
That would be
My
Dave's
book.
army.
Get to that one last, because I mean, I know it's your favorite.
Oh, sure. Well, I don't know, man. There's some really good ones in here. All right, so White Scars, and these are all not in addition to, but you don't, like you can. Oh wait, I'm sorry. They get this in addition to any other litanies that they know. So this is free.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
free buff, guys.
Is Black Templar in there?
No, but
Already starting off strong, GW. Thank
no,
you.
don't worry, Black Templar players. You get an entire 6 litany discipline to choose from. That is your very own. So hold tight onto that. I know you don't get librarians.
Other ones get 8 disciplines.
Yeah. All right. So White Scars get one. It's a 6-inch aura of reroll failed to wound rolls.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
why not turn all your
really
thunder
good.
hammers into lightning claws? Because that's cool, right?
Let's be honest. You're already in there with your chaplain anyway, with the white claws. So it's red or white scars are right up close.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thanks, John. John just brought me a can, a
large container of salt.
so that I can sprinkle it over the book, or sprinkle it on one of these guys if they get too salty. Imperial Fist gives you a 5-up Overwatch within 6 inches.
Yeah.
That's
That is
amazing.
stupid.
So good.
I mean, great, because I own Imperial Fists.
There you
but
go.
It's really strong.
It's very
Yeah,
strong.
it's super strong.
Salamanders, I think might be the strongest one. All units within 6 inches get to heroically intervene.
That's really stupid. Like, if you build around that a little bit,
Because salamanders are already going to clump,
It's
right?
super fluffy though.
Oh, yeah,
that is
for sure.
legit super fluffy.
For sure. Iron. Oh, we'll skip Iron Hands for now because that is my favorite one. Because those are Iron Hands. They're my boys. Ultramarines get to reroll 1s to advance and charge. That's super solid actually. Like because they already can get a bunch of other bonuses to their charge distance from Guilliman, a couple other things. So rerolling 1s for free. Not too bad.
I just because they get so many other movement type stuff. That's the one that I was like, well, this is just kind of there, I guess.
It just prevents you from rolling that 1 for an advance or a charge roll, and like I don't know, it's decent. It's decent, right?
Right.
it's a nice safety, but I don't know about using a litany on it, right? Because it's
Well, you
still-
might need it because you're like, all right, this turn I cannot fuck up this advance roll.
Sure,
right? And then Raven Guard is a 6-inch aura of shoot when they fall back, and if the unit has fly, they can also assault because they can already fall back and shoot. But like that's amazing, and it's just Raven Guard. So this is tanks. This is dreadnoughts. Like anything that you can think of that could utilize this, and none of these are like infantry specific as well. And the final one, Iron Hands get Medusan Furor. That is +1 to their strength characteristic within 6 inches. So very solid way to get those strength 10 thunder hammers on your boys. Like,
Yeah, for the guy named Danny who's running all just ran an all infantry Primaris list with Sergeant
hell
Thunder
yeah,
hammers.
that's totally my jam.
Oh,
Things like lightning claws get way better with that.
Sure.
There's just so much you can combo that with.
Even your normal dudes, like just getting that bump to strength 5, which is a really key breakpoint, like is so good.
oh, dude, dreadnoughts. I mean,
sure.
everything.
Like and so with this, like getting to Dreadnought specifically, that'll make them strength 14, which means they win most other vehicles on 2s. Or if you combo it up with in the same combat with like a Chaplain Dreadnought, or it is an actual Chaplain Dreadnought, that brings it up to strength 16. So you're wounding all toughness 8 vehicles on 2s with your close combat weapon. Super solid. Super solid. All right. And then so each of the different Masters of the Chapter, and there's 6 pages of these rules. That detail chaplains, librarians, tech marines, apothecaries, company champions, and company ancients, and you can make them into the leader of the chapter for their particular specialty. So Masters of Sanctity, this was previewed on GW. You get an extra chaplain power, which is great because this was previously limited only to special characters. Mm-hmm. So getting 2 litanies in the same turn from one guy, amazing. Now, each one also has 2 Warlord traits that's attributed to it as well. And so the Warlord traits are unique in that you can't spend CP stratagems to get them.
Yep.
You have to actually be the Warlord in order to utilize them. So you're not, you can make, if you have a chapter that lets you have 2 Warlord traits on your Warlord, like you can use both of them, but otherwise you're stuck with this guy being your Warlord. That being said, I can totally see this happening more and more. I think that this is going to be something that people will use for their Warlord because some of them are very powerful.
Some are very powerful indeed, Danny.
Yep. So I'm just going to go over one of each one for the various different specialties, just because I don't want to get bogged down in this, because there's a lot of ground that we have to cover for this particular thing here. So, the Master of Sanctity, you can do either reroll the dice, I guess I'm just going to do them both, or add 3 inches to your spiritual leader ability. So that's the aura, or that's the range in which you can target special units, or all litanies that you use as well. Oh, sorry. The spiritual leader uses leadership bubble. So he means he has a 9-inch bubble of leadership 9. So that's super rad. There's also a couple of relics for each one that you can choose from as well. So this adds in total 12 new, or it adds 6 new stratagems, and it adds 12 new warlord traits and 12 new relics for any Space Marine chapter. So a nice little bump to what is already
the
pretty
weakest
prodigious
codex, right?
Yeah.
So I
sure.
think kind of like the concern here, though, right, is bloat. Where like if you're playing an Iron Hands army, you can possibly have to take up to $5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's concerned, I would say, about that.
Sure.
So I mean, if somebody is concerned, you don't have to use all the rules that you don't want to.
Me and my library of books going to LVO are not concerned in the slightest.
Well, or you can just get digital copies of all these books, so you don't have to lug them around.
Technology.
So Master of the Forge basically lets your Tech Marine, if you use this, and it can also be a Tech Marine gunner. It doesn't have to be just a normal Tech Marine.
Couldn't be a Tech Marine gunner.
Oh, that is not a named character, Tech Marine gunner. My bad.
Yeah.
So he gets Master of the Forge. So this is only for a Tech Marine HQ choice. They auto heal 3 wounds instead of D3. And then he has his warlord traits are amazing. So the first one is Master of Machines. He gives a 6-inch bubble of +1 to hit for any vehicles.
Super good.
So,
oh my god.
Do you like to castle? Oh baby, your castle just got better.
Dave, that's all you like to do.
I know.
Or you can stick him on a bike for the time being, right? And then you can drive around with your little mobile artillery line there.
Repulsor executioners moving as fast as they can every turn.
Womp. Or just regular repulsors if you wanted to. Then you've got Warden of the Ancients, +1 strength and attacks to all dreadnoughts within 6 inches of him.
That's pretty good, especially when combined with like the Iron Hands strats to do character dreads and things.
Sure. Now remember, these seem really powerful, right? Like they're amazing.
Yep.
Keep in mind that these are tied to a character with no more than 4 wounds. So
good.
You're talking about a guy with 4 wounds and a 2-up armor save, and that's all the protection that he normally has. Now, you can give him an invulnerable save through relics and things like that, but there's not a ton of options for him. If he's on a bike, maybe he'll have 5 wounds at best. And even then, like, it's not super hard to remove a 5-wound character. Like, you should definitely have the tools in your army to remove that because you're going to have to do that at some point, because some characters are just so powerful.
Right.
Like, you have to get rid of them. And this is one of those cases. So you should definitely try and kill that guy.
Or don't, please.
So they get a relic axe that's pretty good, and then they also get the Interim Protector, which they previewed on GW's website.
Which is the invuln save, right?
Yep, invuln and +1 toughness.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Chief Librarian. So this gives you an extra psychic power, and you can attempt to deny 1 extra power. So it's cast 2, deny 2.
So the same thing as Tigurius, if you're familiar with him.
Well, Tigurius I think gets 3, but
Baby Tigurius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's supposed to be one of the most powerful psychers in the Imperium, though, so I can't really fault him there. The Warlord traits are Psychic Mastery, so you get +1 on your first Psychic test of a turn, and then High Scholar of the Librarius, where you can generate powers from any discipline that you can take them from. So you don't have to all go into one discipline. You can take some powers from one and some powers from another.
That's really good.
That's super powerful. And then they have Neural Shroud, which is a 24-inch range Psychic Hood. So why not get just +1 to deny all the time? That's cool.
Yep.
And then they have a Force Sword that's a nice little upgrade that does D3 mortal wounds on 6s to wound instead of damage. Chief Apothecary. Now this one struck my fancy, and I think I'm probably going to play with this. So Chief Apothecary, what that does is it gives your Apothecary a reroll on his try to bring back a unit or a model to life from a dead model to life.
Right.
And then his Warlord trait that he has, one of them is Father of the Future. So Father of the Future gives a 6-inch bubble of 6-up Feel No Pain. Unless you have the flesh is weak, in which case it's a 5-up Feel No Pain.
It's really good.
Yeah, that's real good.
Yeah.
Like, being able to get all your guys to be Plague Marines, more or less, like, especially 2-wound Primaris.
Yeah, Future Daddy strong.
Yeah, Future Daddy way strong.
So strong.
And then Selfless Healer lets you do 2 units instead of 1. So
Or
I can totally
the same
see,
unit twice.
Sure. So I can totally see using this and then either raising 2 dead guys or raising a guy and then healing him. Like, that seems amazing.
Especially something like Centurions with Imperial Fist, you can bring one back at full health.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's super good.
That's real good.
Yep.
Acquittal is a bolt pistol, a relic bolt pistol, which is kind of cool. It has a damage characteristic of D6 unless you shoot at a monster or a vehicle. And then Healer's Aegis, which is pretty bad. It's a 1-inch bubble of 5-up invulnerable saves for models.
So the weakest relic in the book, right there.
Probably, I would say. Yeah,
Especially if you already can get that bubble of like the 5-up feel no pain if you're
sure.
kids anyway.
Or a 5-up invulnerable save from Farios, right? And that's a 6-inch bubble that your unit just has to be in. All right. Chapter Ancient. This gives +1 leadership to an ancient model, which is cool.
Yep.
And then it gets Chapter Banner, which increases the aura range of his banner to 9 inches instead of 6. So pretty good right there.
Yep.
Yep. And then his Warlord traits are Singular Presence. You get a 3-inch bubble of Heroic Intervention for your Dreadnoughts, Bikers, and Infantry.
Ooh.
What's that?
That's kind of cool.
Sorry, was that Dreadnoughts in there?
I stopped
Dreadnoughts.
listening after Dreadnoughts. Like, I heard Bikers and Infantry, sure. But yeah. Or I don't know why I'm stuck on like Lightning Claws today, but heroically intervening Lightning Claw Terminators
That could be cool.
Yep.
would be pretty rad.
Because they're going to get a ton of attacks, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Steadfast Example. Within 3 inches of him, units get Defenders of Humanity, which is objective secured. And if they already have that, then they count as 2 models instead of 1 model.
Really good.
That's pretty solid too.
Super objective secured.
The banners are really good. They have the standard of Righteous Hatred. So this means that when you do get to shoot or fight again, you have ballistic skill or weapon skill 2 up instead of whatever your normal one is. Mm-hmm. So it's just like the Dark Angels chapter banner, which is pretty good.
Yeah, really good.
Yep, which is solid. And then they have Pennant of the Fallen. This one lets you attack twice with melee weapons instead of just making 1 attack with a melee weapon. Also pretty good. Chapter Champion, I was really interested in this one because I love the idea of a Chapter Champion. I think it's really cool. So you get to take a company champion, you give him +1 attack and +1 leadership, so that's pretty good. So he's already getting an extra attack. I think that brings him up to 4 base attacks, which is nice. And then he gets the Skillful Parry rule, which means he's -1 to hit in close combat.
That is very good.
That's pretty nice. His Warlord traits are Master Duelist. Anytime anybody swings a melee weapon at him on a hit roll of a 1, you roll a dice, and on a 4-up, they take a mortal wound.
That's irritating.
That's super irritating.
Yep.
And it says a hit roll of 1. It doesn't say a natural 1.
So you can modify it down.
With the -1, that means 1s and 2s. That's interesting, at least, right? And I'm sure there's other ways that you can modify that so that he's an extra -1. Anyway. And then you have Martial Exemplar. And this one lets you reroll charges within 6 inches of him. Also not bad, but you do have, that is your Warlord trait, so probably not the greatest.
I mean, it's great if you're doing like a 500-point escalation or something, and you're building up, and you just start off with
and that would be super characterful, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because I would see him taking the lead over an ancient.
Oh
to me, anyway,
totally.
And then his relic, the Blade of Triumph, is pretty rad. This one is a mastercrafted power sword replacement. So basically just for him, more or less. And it's +2 strength, -4 AP, 3 flat damage. Super solid, right?
Very solid.
And then the Angel Artifice just makes him a lot tougher. It gives him a 2+ armor save and a 4+ invulnerable save. So that's pretty nice upgrade too.
So basically, you can have multiple of Artificer armor, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, more or less.
All right.
Sorry.
So before we go on into Black Templars.
Did you need some salt?
No, we'll be fine. Which character came out ahead from this, in your opinion? What's going to see play comp wise?
Well, I still think the Tech Marine will see play just because it's really good, but that seems to me like almost I don't want to say a noob smasher, but a noob smasher. Like, that'll be really good against some people, but then other people are going to be like, well, 4-1 character? Dude, I can kill that guy, no problem. Just with a bunch of snipers and mortal wounds, like, you can probably kill him in one
Not
phase.
if you can't see him.
Well, yeah, that's true, but he has to have good terrain to hide in if that's the case. So
I mean, I
it's
think
a risk.
you seem super hyped on the Apothecary, and
Dude,
definitely the
I
way
am
he works.
very hype about the Iron Hands Apothecary. Other people, I can see why they may not want to take that.
I mean, the Tech Marine basically, it's also really good in the Iron Hands. So,
Oh, sure.
I mean, it feels like a lot of what they did here with these caters to Iron Hands players a
Well,
little bit
all
more.
right. So let's skip that idea, right? Because I don't want to perpetuate that at all. Because I think they're all good for a lot of different
Oh,
chapters, right?
no,
I think overall the best winner of everything is the Master of Sanctity.
Really?
That's the best part of this, because getting to choose a chaplain and having him be able to do 2 litanies is amazing. Because he also knows an extra one too.
Right.
So it's not just always reroll misses in close combat. You can do with one guy like Chaplain Cassie's can do in Ultramarines, where he gets to give, like, for instance, like a Leviathan Dreadnought. He can make that guy +1 to hit and then +1 to wound the same target, which is hugely powerful. Like, that's amazing. So I think there's some really, really solid. I think there's some really solid play there. I think you're going to see a lot of that, and then especially with the chapter specific
Litanies? Yeah.
I think those will see a lot of play as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, because they're free. So why wouldn't you take them? Yeah, and they also work on successor chapters too. I should mention that. So
Right,
it says
yes.
specifically if that's your successor, then you get that litany as well.
But it seems to be each of the characters let you play Marines in a slightly different way, and it's a really
Sure.
great way of buffing
Oh,
your
man.
army and your playstyle.
And most of these guys are units that you're not going to see super often, right? So like you're not going to you see like chaplains and librarians pretty often. Tech Marines not so much unless you need a cheap HQ choice. Like that's the only reason to take one really.
Or you run nothing but tanks and just want to keep them alive, you know.
Eh. But if you have one, like, I don't know, I don't think you need a ton. Anyway, but the chapter champion is not somebody that a lot of people take. I think he's pretty good in general, but it's not something you see on the table a lot.
I was looking at him after this. I'll be honest. I
think he's got play too.
I need an elite choice, you know.
And I think maybe the chapter ancient will see more play as well.
Yeah. Especially as Primaris, because everybody has like 2 of those from the Dark Imperium set.
For
so-
sure.
At least.
At least.
At least.
So anyway, so on to Chaos then. There's nothing.
Yeah,
else in
we'll
this
just
book?
skip
Yeah,
right
yeah.
over. So stay tuned to our next review. Just kidding.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So Black Templar. So first section, they've got a little bit of fluff on the different specialty choices in here, and then they go into the Black Templar.
Let's be honest. If you're watching still now through the Black Templar section, you already know that fluff. It's memorized. You recite it every night before bed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Black Templars get an ability that only works on non-vehicle units. Anytime you roll, and the Assault Doctrine is active, anytime you roll a 6, you automatically hit and wound. That's super good. I mean, that's a
Very
huge force
good.
multiplier.
Yeah.
That's the, oh god, what is that? The strength one that the Primaris get, that stratagem where any 6s that you roll to hit automatically wound.
Yep.
I forgot what the name of it is. Anyway, but there's a whole stratagem that you get for free for your entire army all the time.
Or yeah,
So-
auto wounding on stuff while you're shooting at it when you have like no chance or hitting. When you have no chance to wound it except on 6s to begin with, you know, if you're getting it on a 6 to hit, there's woo,
Yep.
hot.
It just lets you skip dice rolls, which is great. And it's natural 6, not 6+, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
They can't use librarians. We already knew that. And they also have a rule where you can't use the chapter champion stratagem on them because they already have the Emperor's champion, who's the best chapter champion.
The best chapter.
Right. So the first thing we have is High Marshal Helbrick. Helbrick, I think, stayed the same stats-wise. He may have gotten an extra attack, but I think he got an extra attack. Yeah.
He didn't get primarified, which made me sad. Because I think if anybody
sure.
would do that,
He
would.
stayed pure.
I'd want that Emperor's. I think.
No,
the
I
Emperor's
meant
champion
like
is Primaris would be cool.
from a fluff standpoint. If anybody would do it, him or even maybe the Emperor's champion, you know.
Well, the Emperor's champion could be a bunch of different guys, right? Because they die and come back.
No, it's just one guy, Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
but
guy.
they die and then they rehire somebody else
Nope,
into
same
Phil's
guy.
position.
Same guy. They rehired the same guy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So moving on to his abilities. Sword of the High Marshals is the same. It gets you an extra D3 attacks when you charge or heroically intervene. And then he's got Chapter Master, obviously. And then he has Crusade of Wrath. And this rule did change a bit. It was previously models within 6 inches get +1 strength, and now it's units get +1 strength within 6
Didn't
inches.
his sword update to say intervene because it just said charge.
Oh, it
before.
did just say charge before. You're right.
So,
You're
so
right.
it's charge
You're
and
right.
intervene now.
Yep. So he does get that bonus. So he gives himself also +1 strength. So he's strength 6. He gets if he charges, he gets an extra attack from Angels of Death plus an extra D3 attacks. So on average, you're looking at 7. Well, I mean it's 7 to 9 attacks, right? That you're going to get with this guy.
Like you should.
Which is pretty brutal at strength 6 minus 3 D3 damage.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. And then he also has a Kami Melta because
Why not?
for reasons.
Yeah.
Purging.
Right. And then a 4-up invuln save because, of course, he is a Space Marine leader. All right. Then we have the Emperor's Champion. The Emperor's Champion did get an extra attack.
John. I think his name is John.
John. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sigis John.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's true.
So he has 5 attacks. He only has 4 wounds though. So I mean, he's pretty standard for like a lesser Space Marine character, a non-primarified Space Marine character. Black Sword is the same. It's +2 strength, so strength 6, -3 AP or -3 AP, D3 damage, and he gets to re-roll to wound against characters or monsters.
Yep.
Pretty rad. He's got Angels of Death, so he gets +1 attack. He's got Sigismund's Honor. Add 1 to this model's strength and attack characteristic when it's within an inch of any enemy character models. Awesome.
Yeah.
Like so good, because then he's rocking first round of combat. He's rocking 7 strength, 7 attacks that reroll to hit, and he also has reroll to wound against character units.
So if he's sitting there and he's also next to Helbrecht, and they rock up on a knight together.
He becomes, if it's the knight's a character.
Yep. And
right?
the knight's a character.
He's got 7 strength, 8 attacks, hitting on 2s, rerolling, wounding on 4s, rerolling. And then if you're in Assault Doctrine, of course, he's going to be -4 AP, and he's got auto wounded on 6s to hit.
He's pretty good,
That's pretty good.
but pray that you hit, because if you don't, you're going to be squished so goddamn quick.
You say that, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't either.
So he's got Skillful Parry, so he's
Sure.
-1 to hit,
Yep.
right? Just like a Chapter Champion. And the Armor of Faith is a 2-up armor, 4-up invul.
Yep.
So
he's-
that's, I don't know, that's not bad.
That's better than an Imperial
I'm
Knight.
saying, not bad.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, he might get squished. And then you have Chaplain Grimaldus. Now, Chaplain Grimaldus is the Master of Sanctity for the Black Templars now. So he does get to he
Has the extra powers.
let's see here. He knows Litany of Hate and either 2 litanies from Litany of Battle or 2 litanies from the Litanies of the Devout. And he can do 2 litanies a turn. In addition, let's see here. He's got Devout Puritan, so he can resist a psychic power.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Standard,
He
very
gets a
fluffy.
deny, yeah.
Yep.
And then he's got Unmatched Zeal. So anytime you roll an unmodified roll of a 6 to hit, so remember your assault doctrine,
Yep.
right? That model gets to make an extra attack with the same weapon. So not only is it auto wounding once, it also gets to make another attack. Neat.
It's,
And then he also got, he also got a Artificer Crozius, so it's +2 strength, -2 AP, and 2 flat damage. So he got an extra strength and AP on his Crozius.
pretty nice.
Yep. And the final, or not the final, the next unit that we're going to talk about is Cenobite Servitors. Cenobite Servitors are the little servitors carrying the relics that come with Grimaldus. These guys are, I mean, they're pretty bad. Like,
Wait, are they free with Grimaldus? Is this
no, they're very cheap though.
because they're like a unit you can buy yourself?
Are they-
Right,
Separately?
by themselves.
Are they sort of like the guys who come with the Dark Apostle for Chaos?
Kind of, but they're not untargetable.
And they
so
don't-
you can shoot at them.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. All right.
But they also fulfill a cheap, elite slot if you're looking to round some stuff out. So,
Yeah, unless you take Grimaldus and they don't take up a slot.
oh, Grimaldus.
Yeah,
It's like,
so
how dare you be efficient?
when they're within 6 inches of Grimaldus, they get a ballistic skill and weapon skill of 4-up, and their leadership goes to 9, so they won't run away quite as much. And then they have the Relic of Hell's Reach. When a model in a friendly Black Templars unit that is within 6 inches of them would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, on a 4+, they ignore it. So that gets their ignore mortal wounds to a 4-up instead of the 5-up that comes with their chapter tag.
It's really good.
Is that only with shooting or is it also with melee?
Just mortal wounds.
Okay.
I think that's really solid.
Yep.
So, and they're super cheap, and we'll go over their points later on. And then you've got the final thing is the Crusader squad. The Crusader squad, let's see. So you get the Sword Brother that you get with the unit. It can be up to 10, or one Sword Brother and up to 9 Initiates. And then you can also have up to 10 Neophytes.
So I guess the real question for this is how much different is this squad from the Index?
The main thing that changed, as far as I can tell, is that you can get more special close combat weapons with them instead of heavy and special weapons. So they can take a Power Fist, Power Maul, Power Sword, instead of like a heavy weapon or a special weapon. And then also they have a rule called Paired Combatants, which is new. And Paired Combatants says, when this unit contains at least as many Initiates as Neophytes, so that the Initiates are the regular Space Marines, and the Neophytes are Scouts. When resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by a Neophyte in the unit, you can reroll 1s to hit. So the Neophytes get to reroll 1s as long as there's more Initiates than Neophytes, because the Initiates are like, hey dude, plant your feet better.
Suck less.
Yeah. And so that's a troops choice for a Black Templar, which is pretty nice.
So it's a nice little fluff thing that they get to do. It's good.
Yeah, and they get a lot of attacks, so a lot of good close combat attacks from them for sure.
Plus they can swap weapons around like crazy. I mean, they have a bunch of different weapon options they can load their guys out with. So
sure, you can take 1 heavy weapon and 1 special weapon if you have 10 models. So and you can then replace them with close combat weapons if you want to as well. So then the Black Templars litanies. So in my opinion, I didn't think that these were super great. There's a couple that are decent, but
do they synergize well with the Black Templars? I mean,
I don't know if they're better than the regular litanies is the problem. Anyway, but we'll let you make that determination, right?
All right, I will make that determination for our audience.
So, Litanies of Divine Protection, this is one of the better ones. The two that are good, I think, are Litanies of Divine Protection and Fires of Devotion. Litany of Divine Protection gives a Black Templars unit within 6 inches of 5-up feel no pain. That's not bad.
Just a flat 5-up?
Yep.
That's pretty good. That's better than, against mortals or whatever.
Yep, exactly. Then you got Psalm of Remorseless Persecution. When this one, you can reroll 1s in melee with a unit within 6.
All right, that's
okay.
I mean,
you don't need a lieutenant for that.
Yeah. Well, do you say wound rolls of 1 or hit rolls of 1?
Wound rolls of 1.
All right, so that's pretty good actually.
And then Vow of Retribution, -2 leadership for models and enemy units within 6 inches of the chaplain. No, I don't think that's particularly useful. Fires of Devotion, this one's pretty good, I think. If this litany is inspiring, select 1 Black Templars unit within 6 inches. If that unit performs a charge move or heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack characteristics of models in it. So getting +1 attack for a unit is pretty good.
It's pretty good, but having to kind of remain within 6 is kind of the drawback.
Just to start with.
There.
True.
Oh, so at the start of the charge phase.
It's at the start of the battle round.
Oh, yeah.
So then you can shoot them up and go around,
yeah.
right? But they do have to be on the table, so that's something to think about as well. Then you've got Fervent Acclamation. If this litany is inspiring, add 3 inches to the range of friendly Black Templars units' aura abilities within 6. So you can boost the auras of your characters. Not terrible.
Does it work on the litanies?
I don't think a litany is an well,
It depends on the litany, but I would say yes, probably. Oh, it says abilities, not litanies.
Okay, so never mind.
Right. And then you have Oath of Glory. Pick a Black Templars unit within 6. The unit fights first in the fight phase, even if they get charged. Well, if they get charged, then you alternate. So, not bad. I really think Litany of Divine Protection and Fires of Devotion are the best ones. But there's definitely a case for the Psalm of Remorseless Persecution is not terrible either, especially if you don't have a lieutenant in your army. I think that's not bad.
So, Warlord traits.
Warlord traits, Warlord Trados, if you will.
I will not.
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
I will. I will continue.
Jesus,
to do so.
Dave, are we agreeing on
Yeah,
something
we are.
here?
That was. I'm gonna cut this whole section is being cut out right
It
now.
doesn't
We're gonna
work if
start
we
over.
agree, Dave. Jesus.
All right. So Oathkeeper is the first one. This is the Emperor's Champions set Warlord trait. He gets a 6-inch heroic intervention. I believe that that's the same one in the rulebook that Black Templars get right now.
Right.
Then you have Epitome of Piety, which is Chaplain Grimaldus' one. The Warlord can attempt to resist one psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase in the same manner as a Psyker by taking a Deny the Witch. When a Deny the Witch is taken for this Warlord, add 1 to the total. So my question is, and this is kind of a weird thing, Grimaldus already gets that, so it doesn't replace it, so he just gets +1 to his Deny. That's all it does.
Or does he get to deny too?
I don't think so. It doesn't say you get to deny an extra time if you can already do it. I think it should say that, and that would be great if it did, but I don't know.
I mean, it would make perfect sense for Cabal
but
to deny
it,
too.
but it also doesn't say that. So, I mean, rules is written, it kind
Permissive rule sets.
Yep. All right.
Still, +1 to deny is pretty
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. Then you've got Paragon of Fury. This one, whenever you finish a charge move, roll a d6 for each enemy unit within 1 inch of him, and then on a 2-up, that unit takes a mortal wound. Not bad.
All right.
Master of Arms, you get Fight First in combat, which is okay. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I probably would not take Master of Arms.
It's the problem is it doesn't surpass. It's not like the Wolf Helm, which surpasses everything. I charged you. Well, I have the Wolf Helm, so you still fight last.
Yeah, kind of. Not as much anymore, but
yeah.
Then you have Inspirational Fighter. When resolving an attack made by a when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by a friendly Black Templars unit within 6 on an unmodified wound roll of 6, improve the armor penetration by 1. I think that's
really good.
I think that's really solid.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So like Storm of Fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then you've got Frontline Commander, and this is Helbrick's Warlord trait. When a friendly Black Templars unit within 6 advances or makes a charge move, add 1 to the advance or charge roll. That's an amazing one. That's probably the best one out of the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
So combined with those changes to the Crusader squads, that is super, super solid.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
And combined with some of the stratagems you're going to go over next,
Exactly.
that is amazing.
It makes them real good. So the first one is Aboard the Witch. That has not changed at all. That's been the same as it always has been. So you can deny on a 4-up, or not deny, but it's after deny attempts. You can just choose to use this and be like, yeah, your psychic power, I roll a dice on a 4-up. No, it doesn't happen. And it's only 1 CP as opposed to Iron Hands 2, which is fine. Not complaining about that.
And the Iron Hands was 1 and now got moved to 2 thanks to the Iron Hands fact. So eventually, if we get a Black Templar FAQ, we might see it go to 2, but I could see it staying there because of Black Templar.
Yeah.
They pray more.
They do. They do pray a lot.
That's all I got to add.
Okay.
Then Crusader relics, and this is the stratagem that lets you take a champion and give them some relics. So this lets you get a Witch Seeker Bolt, Sword of Judgment, or the Skull of Cacodominus as a relic for your sergeant characters.
And that's in this book, or is that from...
all these are in that book, and
Okay.
we'll go over those. Note: Black Templars do not have special issue war gear, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
So
I would like to point out, though, that this is a successor chapter of the Imperial Fists.
correct.
And they have 8, as opposed to, I don't know, Crimson Fists, who only have 3 stratagems.
I think they only have 2. But
They-
Crimson Fist do
they
get to
might.
use all the Imperial Fist ones too. So that's something.
I'm trying to give the Black Templar players something here, Dan.
Anyway, so then you have Devout Push. This one's pretty good. Use at the start of the fight phase, select 1 Black Dwarf Templar infantry unit or biker unit, and that unit can pile in and consolidate 6 inches instead of 3 inches. That is amazingly powerful.
Yes.
So that lets you like really push into the lines of your enemy and like lock up units in combat.
Tri-point shit all day.
Oh yeah, or maybe not. Maybe you don't care about that as much because of the next stratagem.
Oh.
Tenacious Assault. Use the stratagem in the movement phase when an enemy infantry unit that does not have the flyer battlefield roll and is within 1 inch of any Black Templars infantry units from your army chooses to fall back. Roll a d6. On a 2+, they cannot fall back.
Disliked.
I'm going to give it a thumbs up. I like it.
Remember, it doesn't affect non-infantry models, right? Mm-hmm. So you can still fall back with them, but it allows you to lock up some infantry like a mother, which is great.
Oh, did you think you were going to shoot me? Tough.
Tough titties, son. All right, and so since you're rolling that, you can use a CP reroll if you bomb it and roll that 1, which is nice.
But that's a waste because you always reroll 1s into 1s.
That has not been always my experience.
It's mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. All right, Emperor's Will, another great one, and keep in mind every single one of these stratagems, except for the Tenacious Assault, is 1 CP.
Yeah.
So, and that one's 2, which is great. So all these are really affordable.
Yeah, that's really good for 2. In fact, that's really good for 2.
Well, yeah, the Night Lord's one is not. Anyway,
We haven't
gotten
this
that
is
one.
there's
Yep.
nothing
Oh
in
yeah.
this book
Well, wait, yeah, no,
besides
it's just Space Marine
just
stuff,
Space
right?
Marines.
All right, and then we've got Emperor's Will. This one's great for the Crusader squads. Use it in your movement phase when you move or when you advance with a Black Templar's infantry unit. Until end of turn, models in that unit can still shoot with their pistol weapons and still charge.
Gross.
That's really good, right? So, like, Vanguard veterans with jump packs.
It just seems like the past 3 supplements or things like that, Vanguard vets, are they sitting on like a crazy backlog of them or something?
Well, I don't know. But
You can make
It's
Vanguard
like-
vets out of any model, though. Any
But
plastic
like
model. though.
Fists, Black Templars, even Iron Hands to an extent, all of them like
White
oh,
Scars have
Vanguards,
really good
White
Vanguards,
Scars. Everyone seems to be on the Vanguard vet train.
they're pretty cool, though.
Choo choo.
They're a thematic unit, though. Like, probably thematically, one of the coolest units that I can think of. Like, a bunch of veteran close combat guys that deep strike in or like, shoot up the table super fast to fuck somebody up.
To the
Super
RoboCop
cool.
song.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Then you have Oath of Honor. This one is bizarre, actually. I don't know why this is in here. This seems very out of place to me.
Cast
Okay.
3 psychic powers.
Oh, man. So Oath of Honor is using the fight phase, select a Black Templar scout unit. So first of all, like,
Okay.
I didn't, like, back in the day, Black Templars didn't even have, like, specialized scout units. They could only take their neophytes in with the initiates. Because, like, they had to watch them.
Sure.
Yeah, make sure they weren't, like, fucking up.
Tainted by the war.
But this lets you take a Black Templar scout unit that charged or was charged, and until the end of the phase, you get to reroll 2 wound rolls in combat with them. I mean, it's good, right? But like, I don't know where that came from.
That's so situationally weird. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. If you have like sniper scouts that got charged,
Sure,
you can be like, oh, cool. Yeah, I guess I can do this now. Or,
I can see like running in with a bunch of like melee scouts, like some 10-man melee scout units. And keep in mind, the Crusader squad does not have the scout rules, so you can't use it on them.
Right.
'Cause that's what I thought you might be able to use them.
So,
Anyway,
so why would
that
you
would be
take Crusader
OP on a
squads?
Crusader squad.
it could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a weird specific build.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't really get it, but
I think there's one guy at GW that just runs Black Templar scouts.
so there was a push to run a bunch of Black Templar scouts competitively for a while because they gave you access to Abhor the Witch as a stratagem, and so people would take them as their troop choices because they'd be like, well, I can infiltrate these guys up and screw over your psychic powers that
Sure.
you're too far back from me normally to deny. Anyway.
Interesting.
The next one is Vicious Riposte. This is for Black Templar's infantry unit. When they're chosen as the target of an attack, until the end of the phase, an unmodified save roll of 6, the attacking model's unit takes a mortal wound after they finish fighting.
That's really good.
And that's on save rolls. So that
Yeah.
could be storm shields, that could be... anyway, it's anything in the fight phase, which is I think that's, it's not bad for 1 CP. Heck yeah.
To make them all take mortals possibly on 6s?
Yeah, not bad. And then you've got Shock and Awe. This is the one that they previewed on GW, where if they get out of Land Raider Crusader, you can't overwatch them, and they're -1 to
Wonderful.
hit. Awesome.
Great.
And so fluffy, right?
Especially with your
Like,
scouts when you charge in.
Yeah, you can unload your 10 scouts out of
Wait, so, hold on. Do scouts take up less space in a Land Raider Crusader?
No.
Can you get 2 units of scouts in
It's
there?
not a
You
barrel.
could,
I mean,
units of 8.
Oh, shoot.
it's
Because
not
it's
a,
a 16-man capacity.
yeah, it's not a barrel of monkeys, Dave. It's
I mean,
a Land Raider.
It's a barrel of
Could be.
scouts.
It could be a barrel of scouts and characters.
Jumping out to a xylophone version of the RoboCop theme.
Why is the robot... Anyway.
I don't know.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
I also don't know, but now I have to go find the RoboCop theme
So
to put in here.
finally, we have the Crusade relics. Crusade relics, they have some amazing relics. So first of all,
Well, they've been all over the galaxy picking up relics.
I know they're like the Blood Ravens. Like I imagine
Like
they're
the
just stealing everything.
Warless Marines.
Pointless Marine.
Danny, I don't want to get lynched when we go to LVO. There's going to be at least, one Black Templar player down
Yeah,
there.
probably. That guy's a loser anyway. So first one, the Crusader's helm as a White Scars player makes me super jealous. I wish I had something like this.
I'm glad you don't then.
So this adds. So first of all, it was just a 3-inch aura boost. That was in the last Space Marine Codex. That's what they got. It's a 3-inch boost to their auras, which was great.
Yeah, that's
And
like
like,
Vox
it-
Xperia.
Sure, yeah, and it was good because people would take it on their Phobos guy, and then they fact it to make sure that you couldn't get the 15-inch no deep strike aura, which is fair. But now it also lets you pick a Black Templar's unit within 6 inches, and they get to count as being an assault doctrine.
Which is really good for them.
Which is
So you-
really good for them. That's
you-
exactly where they want to be.
You got this character charging on out of a Land Raider with 15 scouts,
Obviously.
Sure.
Crusader, so they're not overwatched. They're making their charge. And now they get this as well?
Yep.
Luckily, they're scouts,
Well-
so they wouldn't do anything else. But
You can't do that because it's at the start of your movement phase and they're not on the table.
All right, so you put it on a jump pack character. So
Yes.
now you have 16 scouts instead of 15 charging out.
Correct.
That's one more.
Yep, there you go.
Boom.
All right, and then the next one is Witch Seeker Bolts, and so this is something that you can take on a sergeant. It gives a bolt weapon, and you can target psychers even if they're not the closest, if they're a psyker character. And if you hit, you just do D3 mortal wounds to the psyker.
Yeah, that's
dumb. I mean, I don't want to overreact with my chaos list, but that's really dumb.
I don't know. I like it. 'Cause
I think it's cool.
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
run
fine.
psychers, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the worst.
Sure, I mean, I guess if your entire strategy revolves around one psyker getting off of power, sure, that's dumb.
Womp womp.
But super thematic. And really
Yeah,
is.
it's
Yeah.
really thematic,
I
actually.
expect Sisters of Battle to have some stuff like this as well.
yeah.
Because they can take all those
Well, they're-
crossbows.
First off, they're better than Black Templars. I mean,
We're not going to argue that because
No.
that's just true.
Yeah.
So the next one, and this is another one of their really powerful artifacts, I think, the Aurelian Shroud. This one is a once per battle. At the start of the battle round, you can unveil it. And then until the end of that battle round, models and friendly Black Templars units have a 4+ invulnerable save while within 3 inches of a model with this relic.
Wait, so some dude's wandering around in power armor with some cloth hidden in a pouch or some shit like
Yeah,
that?
then
Is there-
he pulls out his handkerchief.
Danny,
and
they can't see this motion you're
kind
doing.
of
I appreciate
waves
it.
it in the air.
Is it a white flag of surrender?
No,
And they're like,
not-
oh, we must survive to surrender as Black Templars do.
But like, I'm just thinking like first turn to keep your Land Raider Crusaders alive and giving them a 4+ invulnerable save is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Is it wholly within? Or
No,
is it
just within 3,
Nice.
and it's units.
nice?
So it's
Yep, that counts.
it's real good.
Oof. All right.
And even if you don't go first, like moving up your Land Raiders and having like a chaplain with a jump pack, like jump behind them, right, and then like keep giving them a 4+, and it's like okay,
really
deal
good.
with this.
And then you can still build that stratagem to deny Overwatch because your Land Raider's going to have a 4+ invulnerable.
Right.
So who gives a shit about where you're putting it?
Right. Super good.
And I can't really read this next one because I'm upside down. Does that say Ancient Brewery?
No, it's Breviary. So this is a chaplain model. This is actually a really good one too. When you roll for a litany, you roll 2d6 and discard 1.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah, it's super solid.
So you get 2 litanies off?
No. So
No, I mean you can get 2. So you're getting the chance of you getting 2 litanies off is actually a lot higher automatically by.
Well, the
if
chance
you're
of
taking
getting,
a Master
right.
of Sanctity,
yeah,
right?
Right.
the chance of getting any litany off is you're rolling 2 dice and being like, well, 1 dice failed, 1 dice passed. I guess it goes off.
It's like literally doubled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When combined with some of the stratagems,
I mean,
and
unless I'm
other
wrong.
like the Warlord
Yeah.
traits in the book, then you could make some real beatstick units from this
For sure,
stuff here.
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the other strats from the space, or from some of the other litanies from Space
Right,
Marines.
because you can still combine these with all the strats from the Space Marine
Yep.
book.
Well, yeah, all the strats from the Space Marine book, but nothing from the Imperial Fist book.
Correct.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
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 So the next one is the Skull of the Cacodominus. This one is after a psychic power has been manifested by an enemy psyker within 12 inches of a model with this relic, roll a dice. On a 2+, that model takes D3 mortal wounds after the psychic power is resolved. So a 12-inch range is pretty low, but you can take this on a sergeant in the middle of a squad, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so you could slap it on your scout sergeant. That could be one of the reasons that you have scouts up front.
Oh yeah, you could
No,
just
like a
shove
legitimate
them
reason.
forward with that skull.
But I mean, think about it. Yeah.
And then the last one is also another one that you can take with a sergeant, and this one is super solid, I think. You replace as a power sword with the Sword of Judgment, and that sword is +1 strength, -3 AP, 3 flat damage.
And judging you so hard.
Yeah, just like me, like judging you very, very harshly.
Is that scouts on
You,
a Land Raider?
specifically you.
Yeah.
You.
No, not that other guy, you.
And then finally, point values. Grimaldus is 90 points. High Marshal Helbrick is 150. The Emperor's Champion is 75. I think those are all appropriate point values and pretty fair.
Yeah, very fair actually.
I'm surprised the Crusader squad didn't go down to 12 points a model, like the normal Tactical Marines, but they are still 13, and the Scouts and the Neophytes are 11. And then finally, your Cenobite Servitors are 2 points a model. So the whole unit is 6 points.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
It's pretty cheap.
Yep. And can you take more than 1 unit of them? That's a good question. I didn't actually see that. Yeah, you can only have one unit of them in your army. So,
Well, if you end up your list at 1994, you know what to throw in there.
oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
but you also probably have Grim. Oh no, wait.
I did forget the most important part of this.
The name generator.
The Black Templar name generator.
It's
All right,
all just
John, get
Grimaldus,
a dice.
Oh shit! No.
All right, just
Hold on, roll it. Hold on, I got it.
Okay, hold on, got it. 34.
Yeah.
Got it. And what's the last name?
Okay, hold on. What's it say? Is that 62?
All right, 62.
Dave, your stage play is amazing.
So you got Conrad Richter.
Dude, that's the bad guy from Die Hard.
That's the Hans Gruber.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe it was Die Hard 2.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Anyway, so a great supplement for Black Templars. I think they got very good, and I think you should definitely give them a look if you're considering playing them.
And if you're
I can see it
already
being a real
playing
fun
Black
army.
Templars, this is very solid. We had to have a discussion with our local Black Templar player who saw what they previewed and went, "Well, that sucks." And we went, "No,
you haven't seen
you
the
haven't
picture
seen
yet.
everything yet. You've gotten a snapshot of 3 things. I mean, you don't even know what's in here. It could be like almost an entire book of Black Templar stuff. Spoiler, it's not." But it's still really solid. As far as supplements go, I think it's great.
You know,
I think
I
it's
think,
really good.
like, listening to you guys talk about it there, the...
Makes you want to play Black
the
Templars?
supplement for... Well, no, I'm still sane.
Okay.
But the supplement here with the Black Templar rules isn't going to change how a Black Templar player composes their army. What I feel it's going to do is it's going to give them more tools to compete in the current meta with their existing lists.
And help them to get into assault. Like,
Right.
a bunch of their stuff is really powerful. And they have some of the most maneuverable in assault units that you can have. I mean, it's just, they want to get stuck in and punch your face off.
So, Danny, if you were making a Black Templar list, and obviously, like every other Space Marine supplement, in order to maintain your benefits and your doctrines and everything else, you have to be pure to that. So, give me like a small snippet of what you would put in a 2,000-point Black Templar force.
So I'd want a big fat unit of Vanguard veterans with storm shields. I think that goes on my list. I think a big unit of Assault Centurions and a Land Raider Crusader is probably a pretty good bet.
Yeah, that's a solid bet.
And then I would take a bunch of, as many as I could, 20-man Crusader squads, because I think those are awesome.
Oh, I thought they maxed out at 17.
No,
Is
they're
it all the way
20.
to 20?
You can take 10 and 10.
Oh, that's really nice.
So it's like orcs, but in power armor. Well, anyway, I think those would be fun to play. And then, just back it up with a bunch of characters. To
really buff it up.
Slay the infidel.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would go, whole hog in on the assault thing. Just try and get into combat as soon as I possibly could. And since Black Templars get orc rerolls, I mean, that's such a solid ability. And giving all of your dudes close to Hellbrick, +1 to advance and +1 to charge, when you can already get orc rerolls for charges, is very powerful.
Yeah.
And they have advance and charge stratagems in here as well. So
Very
a
good.
lot of really solid things.
Yeah, a lot of really good tools that just actually elevate Black Templar from, baby town frolics to,
To a legit army.
to a legit force. So, I mean, I like this for Black Templar players. And I know we tease Black Templar players a lot.
Sure.
But this is really solid. And you should be very happy with everything you're seeing here.
It's like you have a real book almost.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't, but it's like it.
I do appreciate that GW refused to give you a codex even though you demanded it. As kind of a meme joke, I think the new GW is best GW, so great for them.
They do a
And,
great job.
you know what? So yeah, that's
So that's the end of our review.
of the Black Templars there.
Yep. So
Yeah, if you like this, give John a follow on Twitter. Tell him how much you like his witty banter, and don't follow me and Danny. We're terrible.
Apparently, more than Dave enjoyed my witty banter.
for some,
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. But yeah, we got a Patreon you can subscribe to. We got that has a Discord where lots of chats happen, but it's mostly just memes at this point, and some really good tactical advice. Actually, surprising.
Hey, at patreon.com/mob rules, any amount given gives you access to our Discord where Danny is available to answer specific questions about this book.
even if you
and
want to
these
just come on
reviews.
and insult me,
Yes.
if you can do that, I'll answer your insult.
It will put me out of a job, but that's okay.
I'm still here, John. You can.
Oh God, please no.
I'm trying so hard, Dave. Trying so hard.
But yeah, so
this concludes this edition of Danny's Talk Takes. Take a look out for our other review video from the Psychic Awakening Part 2, where we review the Chaos portion of the book.
Brought to you by Morton's.
Yeah. And with that, have a good night.